The views and opinions expressed by the participants on this show are not necessarily those of Stewart Information Services Corporation, Stewart Title, or Stewart Insurance. Before you make any investment, you should seek the advice of your investment advisor or attorney.
Whether you're a real estate broker, realtor, homeowner, buyer, or seller, everything matters when it comes to real estate. This is Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title. Stewart Title's Bill Napick and guests open the door to what really matters in owning, buying, and selling real estate. And now, Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title, brought to you by Stewart Insurance. Here to inform, entertain, and inspire, Bill Napick.
Welcome to the show. It is Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title. I am your host, Bill Napick. Thank you for joining us. A wonderful weekend once again. Here we are. Very excited as we have real estate professionals abounding right here on this show, and even a special surprise coming up. So thank you for joining us, and we're going to get down to business right now as we welcome Angie Middlebrooks with RE/MAX Fine Properties. Angie, welcome back to the show.
Well, hey there, fella. Thanks for having me back.
You know, you're the only person that calls me fella, and I like that because it's so nice in a certain way. Welcome to the show.
I appreciate you having me here.
Well, Angie, let's tell people as they listen far and wide right here in the Houston area and beyond, let's tell them about your company and where RE/MAX Fine Properties is.
All right. RE/MAX Fine Properties. We are located in Sugar Land, but we serve the greater Houston area, and we have a branch office in Austin. So since the last time I was here, we've opened up that office, so that's some fun news.
And now, do you go to the office in Austin? Or?
I do. I travel there twice a month. We do office meetings and then roundtables to help grow that office and help enrich those agents.
Well, as you brought up Austin, let's kind of start in Austin because it's always a great opportunity here on the show to talk about other real estate markets because we're always talking about Houston.
Right.
So give people an idea. We've heard different things about Austin here lately. What's going on up there?
Well, Austin's a little bit different than our market in the sense that their price points are higher. So that's the elephant in the room, right? Their market is probably softened a little bit more, but it went up a great deal more during the COVID era than ours. So they're getting more back to a level playing ground. Lots of development, lots of new construction there. They're the small town that's becoming the big city, whether they like it or not.
And I think about Austin. I have not been there in a while, and I said just the other week I need to get back up there. And if someone wanted to live downtown in Austin, do you have an idea what those price points are in condo-ish sort of a vibe?
That's a loaded question, friend. That's going to be ranging from nothing to extraordinary in pricing. You would have to have an exact location. And by the way, did I tell you I have 36 Austin agents that would be happy to help you?
36. So that to be continued on that note.
Right.
So let's reel back here to Houston. You are in the Fort Bend area, correct?
We are located in the Fort Bend area, but our agents make up coverage across the greater Houston area. All the way north, Willis, Conroe, Woodlands, all the way down south and east to west as well.
And let's give people, Angie, an idea of your role at RE/MAX Fine Properties.
So I'm an agent as well, still doing a book of business, and I have a team, the Angie Middlebrooks Group. And but my big role within the firm is that I'm the managing partner of RE/MAX Fine Properties. So if you go ahead and ask me something else about the brokerage so I can share the real fun news about our brokerage.
Well, just share the fun news. What is the fun news?
The fun news is we earned Broker of the Year for Texas for RE/MAX.
Well, in fact, I was going to say that in the RE/MAX world, you are right up there. Your brokerage is...
We are the largest RE/MAX in Texas.
The largest in Texas. And that's in Texas, the largest state.
That's right, largest state.
So we're talking big, right?
Yeah.
Grande.
Yeah. Exactly. I love it.
So,
yeah.
And that doesn't happen by accident. As you've been with the company now and as a partner, give people an idea and insight, especially to those that look at the TV shows and think that real estate is easy. How does a brokerage get to have that distinction? So
let's just say nothing about real estate is like selling sunsets. That's a farce. That's not real. So our firm was started by a mother-son. That's Nimesh and his mom started it. And then it took over to the two brothers working together. And since I've been on board about a year and a half, we've just changed to more of a real estate office where we're bringing in not just top producers, but we're building top producers. So that would be the biggest change.
And as you mentioned Nimesh, we want to say hello to Nimesh.
Absolutely, yes.
And get him back on the show sometime soon, because it was great to have him here with us, I guess, about 7 months ago.
It's fantastic. I mean, he's great to work with. He's a great broker for our brokerage. But more importantly, I mean, people need to understand the value of RE/MAX Fine Properties, because he's sent all over the country to teach about teams, to teach about camaraderie, to teach about how to grow your brokerage, and we get the privilege of being in his brokerage.
So, and going back to the idea, it does not happen by accident. It's a lot of work, and as you analyze and try to even bring more to the team and have the team more productive, excited, all those things, what are some of the things that you think are the most important? Let's say someone's thinking about being in real estate. What would you tell your son or daughter that say, hey, Mom, I want to be in real estate?
If you're going to do it, first off, it's not easy, but not being easy doesn't mean it's not worth it. And you have to find a brokerage that has a culture that fits you. We have to work long hours. You want to be around people that are going to build you up. Unfortunately, in our industry, we have a lot of offices and agents that they feel like everything is a competition, but we believe in rising tides float all ships. So the better each of us are, the better our brokerage is. And if that's your philosophy, we've got a place for you.
And whether it's in Austin, Texas, with your many agents there, or right here in Fort Bend, as you have many agents, how many? Give us an idea in the Fort Bend office.
So between the two offices, I want to say we're 167 now.
167.
Yeah.
So let's take Fort Bend, for instance. In this market, the Fort Bend, what would you tell buyers and sellers the sellers that might be thinking about selling their properties right now, and of course buyers that say, hey, I want to live in the Fort Bend area?
Our interest rates are improving for all parties. So if we think about sellers want to sell and get the most, right? And we think about COVID times where sellers were just super pleased, but they also had to purchase at a really high value. So right now, I think we have winning on both seller side and buyer side. And with interest rates coming down, you get more bang for your buck.
So the market is good. And as you look at 2024, how would you speculate things would unfold here for the marketplace?
If history proves itself and continues as it usually does, it's an election year. So during election years, interest rates usually reduce closer to election period. So it's prime time for people to be buying. And for sellers that are thinking about, maybe I'm thinking about this, I would say do it now.
Buy now.
Buy now.
Probably a great time. Mm-hmm. In fact, I think buy now at this time, because it's a little bit cooler, is also a good word.
And then truly, and if we really think about it, even when people think, oh, I can't get the most for my money, if you're on the buyer side, right? What happens every year with houses?
I think they go up.
They go up in price, right? So even if we have a higher interest rate, if we know the value is going to go up each year, wouldn't it be prudent to go ahead and purchase and refinance when the rates come down?
Of course.
That's something that people lose sight of sometimes. But if you've got a real estate agent, they can work those formulas, connect you to a good lender, and when you have that whole package in front of you, you can make a plan.
Sounds like it's a good idea to call someone at RE/MAX Fine Properties like you.
I agree with you. Well said.
How about that? See, I've been practicing that, Angie. So give us an idea of some of the other things from a marketing standpoint. Mm-hmm. What do you do, and or what do you see some of the most successful agents right here in Fort Bend or even in Austin? What are they doing from a marketing standpoint to get the most results, whether it's social media or whatever?
Social media is a given. We're in a day and age when we all need to be connecting on all points. And as the younger people are coming up, we know that is their medium, right? All right, so let's just set that one aside. What we're finding is this is really the year for the professional. This is meaning we're having a whole lot of agents that fell off, if you will, post-COVID, and we're going back to the basics. So we're doing handwritten notes. We're doing postcards. We're doing the things that connect to people. And I hate to keep bringing up COVID, but that's really where a lot has changed, where people want the connection. They want to engage. They want to have a relationship after we were so separated. So I would say build up on those. They've worked for years, and we're going to start doing them more. And for me personally, that's what I've always done, and I'm continuing with it.
Well, I agree. It's always a good time to go back to the basics.
Agreed.
And especially after the world events that have happened in the last couple of years. So no doubt about that. What are some of the other things you want people to know about RE/MAX Fine Properties or about Angie Middlebrooks?
Well, let's start with RE/MAX. If you're looking for a real estate agent to meet your needs wherever you are in the city, we have an agent for you. Bottom line, hands down, no questions asked. And then for me personally, I got into this because I love the relationship. I'm a people person. I think maybe we touched on this one point in time. I was the girl that got in trouble for talking too much in class growing up.
No.
And now it benefits me greatly. So it's all
working
all education. My job is to help you find a home. It's the most expensive purchase that most people make. So let's make sure that you feel comfortable. You have all the information to make sure it's the best decision for your family and to have a little fun along the way.
It's important to have fun.
Absolutely.
No doubt about it. But also give us a quick word, as you mentioned that you're starting real estate prior to real estate. What were you doing?
Oh, I was an REO asset manager. REO stands for real estate owned. Before homes go through, after they go through foreclosure, they're owned by either lenders or servicing companies. They don't want the house. They want the revenue. They want it back. So I was a manager of a department and of a portfolio where we got those houses back on the market. So I've been doing this since I was 21.
And Angie, let's tell people how they can reach out to you, Angie Middlebrooks.
I love it. Yes, Angie Middlebrooks can be reached directly at 832-228-7737. And my email address is Angie at the Angie Middlebrooks Group. And if you have questions about RE/MAX Fine, maybe becoming a fine agent yourself, then I can be reached at Angie at remaxfine.com. 832-228-7737.
Thank you, Angie.
Thanks for having me on.
As we continue, let's talk to Shane Bergeson. He is with Better Homes and Gardens. Shane, welcome to the show.
Hey, thank you. I'm excited to be here.
Well, here you are, right here, KPRC. Shane, you are also a real estate professional. Let's tell people your company is
Better Homes and Gardens Real Estate, the Bergeson Group.
The Bergeson Group. Well, give us an idea as far as geographically. Let's start there, Shane. Where do you spend most of your time, or where have you spent the most time here in the last couple months or so?
Last couple of months, well, the last 31 years of my life, I've lived in Friendswood, Texas. And now I mainly work in Friendswood, Pearland, League City, Galveston County, Brazoria County. And as a friend of mine says, I basically do work wherever it makes sense, CENTS.
That's a good word. So, Friendswood, Texas, as people hear the show that are not familiar with Houston, and even some Houstonians, they think about Friendswood, they think, hey, that's a pretty friendly place.
It is.
That may be one of the attributes, right?
Yeah, it's ranked one of the top 10 safest cities in Texas, and I think top 35 in the nation.
Is that right?
That's right.
Well, give people,
last I read.
Let's explore that a little bit. Let's give people an idea. If they are not familiar with Friendswood, give us an idea geographically about where it is from the center of town and also some of the other attributes of Friendswood, Texas.
So Friendswood, it's South Houston area. It's right in between Pearland, League City, a little north of Alvin, right in between I-35 and 45. Small town. Still kind of has that feel. Really good school system. Top 5. Keeps going back between like 1 to 5. They always, each year, they fluctuate. But yeah, really family-centered home or area. Again, I've been there for 30 years, so people always ask me, what about the other areas? I'm slightly biased towards Friendswood. I graduated there, participated in football, basketball, even was in 3 musicals at high school. That's correct.
Oh, you're an actor?
I'm not an actor, but I'm a decent choir singer in the chorus.
Is that right?
You can't hear me, but you can hear everyone else, so it works out.
But your one voice is part of the sound that comes off the choir.
Yes, sir.
Well, that sounds good. People might want to experience that. But in the meantime, Friendswood, as far as real estate, right now, it does have a lot of people like it a lot, and we hear a lot about it. But give us an idea from the demand right now in Friendswood. If someone wants to buy a house, is there inventory down there?
There is inventory. I mean, I think that's what's going on with our market right now. We have a lot of inventory. We don't have a lot of inventory, but we have a lot of houses sitting, and there are a lot of houses available. And speaking currently, what's happening, I just submitted an offer $20,000 over on a house that just hit the market on Saturday.
Okay, wait a minute. $20,000 over.
Yes. And so the market is still performing fairly well if the house is priced well, in a good location, and in good condition. So we're talking a $500,000 home. We submit an offer for $20,000, and we're competing with 4 other offers.
So the person you're representing put in an offer of, say, $520,000.
Yes, sir.
To get this house.
To get this house. And we're still worried we may not get it.
Okay.
I sent it this morning and still waiting for a response.
Isn't it interesting? That's one of the fascinating things about real estate. It's almost like a little bit of a poker game when it comes to the multiple offer situation because you don't know what the other offers are.
Yes.
That makes it kind of fun.
Yes. It is a little exciting and it's a little, it's a little nerve-wracking
as well.
because You want to win the offer, right? That's our
Exactly.
job. But right, it's a gamble. You never know.
Well, one of the factors in a negotiation like this in a multiple offer situation is the cash buyer.
Oh, yes.
So how often, I'm not necessarily asking about this particular deal, but how often are you running into, let's say out of the last 10 buyers, how often are you running into a cash buyer?
So recently, I don't know if you've seen the data, but 40% of homeowners own their houses free and clear. So right now I have a seller who wants to sell their home and then buy their next home as cash.
Right.
And so, I mean, in my experience, it's probably about 10 to 15%, not that high, especially with.
But they're out there. There's a few.
No, they definitely exist, and we deal with them all the time. And most of the time we deal with it from an investor perspective. We always are submitting that cash offers.
And as you're mentioning that there's inventory in Friendswood, that sounds like a place where cash buyers might want to go.
Yes.
To pick up some property at a good
No,
price.
absolutely. Yeah. If you do have cash, and what we always say, real estate is probably one of your best investments you can make. Just appreciates year by year by average of 4%.
Okay, so let's move from Friendswood. What are some of the other areas that you're pretty familiar with where you can tell us about the activity?
So really the Pearland, League City areas, there's just keep on growing. In our area, we're seeing a lot of developments coming about. We know we have that Wolf Lodge coming down off of 45.
Now, what is that?
It's going to be a huge attraction. It's going to be like League City, Webster area.
Wow.
Indoor water park. That's the word. Yeah, indoor water park. And then we also have Axiom, who just set up shop right off of 45 as well, and that offered, I think, like around 400 jobs.
And what is that place?
And that is a third-party contractor to NASA, and so they help put satellites up. And then I know pickleball. They just put in a new pickleball, kind of like a Topgolf, but for pickleball right there as well. And then Friendswood, I know, is building a Friendswood City Center. Everything's developing, and it's going to continue to grow with job opportunities. And yeah,
it's amazing because as you're saying all this, Shane, we're talking with Shane Bergeson. As you're saying this, I'm thinking about the area we're talking about, but also in the back of my mind, I'm thinking of the Woodlands and all these other places. It seems everywhere around Houston is radiating expansion, explosion, development, and in each place there's a different kind of economic driver. When you talk about NASA, we're not even mentioning the port, but all these things, it's fascinating.
Recently we did like a economic kind of forecasting with Ted Jones from Stewart, and that's what we're starting to see. The small towns of these big cities growing because people are now starting to prefer to live in a small town and not inside the city due to kind of hybrid work situations where you can work in the office a couple days of the week and then the rest you work at home. And so we're starting to see people really putting investments and deciding to grow roots inside of or outside of a big town.
And then when everybody gets there, it won't be a small town. It
That's-
won't be a small town anymore.
And that's what we're starting to see, even in where I grew up.
Right. Okay, so let me go back to this. Pearland, League City, and Friendswood. Is
Yes, sir.
one more popular than the other right now as far as places people want to be?
It's a good question.
It's not a trick question.
It's
I'm
not
just
a trick
curious.
question,
I'm just
but
saying.
it just depends on the individual, on where they want to be. If you're in League City area, you're closer to the water. So if you want more of that bay life, and you want to kind of more activities, then that's a great situation.
Okay, so League City, let's tell people where that is. That's off of when you go south of Houston on 45. It's off of 45 somewhere?
So it actually covers both west and east side of 45.
About how far down from the center of town?
I would say about 30 minutes from the center of town.
And then how far is League City, say, from Galveston?
It's about 25 minutes.
It's almost equidistant.
Yeah, it's like right in the middle. So, and that's why a lot of people do like that, is because you're right in between, Houston. You have access to Houston, to the nightlife, and then you're at the south to the Galveston, whether you want to go on a cruise or you want to go on the beach. It provides a lot of opportunity and just, fun activities.
And speaking of Galveston, someone just told me they're doing some investing in Galveston in an RV park.
Yes, sir.
They're saying
Marguerite.
Galveston is exploding as well. What are you seeing there, Shane? You ever get down there?
Oh, yeah. I was just there last week. We're starting to see a lot of economic development in our area. And I don't foresee it slowing down at all, just with the amount of land available we have. And so Margaritaville, that's going to be coming available here, and they're going to break ground soon.
And where's that going to be?
So that's going to be, I believe it's going to be on the east
in League
end.
City?
No, Margaritaville is going to be in Galveston. It's going to be on the east end of the island.
Apparently the Woodlands one was successful. They're doing another.
Yeah. And so again, and who knows what Fertitta's going to do in the near future with all that, with Galveston, but we're just anticipating just a lot of growth there with the med center that they have at UTMB, and then the cruise lines that they just continue to develop.
I think as people listen to the show, I know at this point in time, as I hear all these things week in and week out, this is a very exciting place to live. And you live here for many reasons, to enjoy it, the economic features, the fun features, but I'm living here also to find out what happens next, just to find out the next couple chapters, because it's kind of like a book, this Houston, Texas. It's amazing.
It's really exciting. So, specifically real estate, it's super exciting because, well, you want to get in now, because like we're discussing all these developments going on and what's going to be created here soon. That's only going to create more demand, and it's going to increase pricing. Yeah, and everyone's going to want to come here and eat all the gumbo, the barbecue, and because, Texas and Houston, that's what we're really good at is food.
So fill in the blanks.
I would say buy now.
Buy now. Okay, thank you so much, Shane. Let's tell people how to reach you, Shane Bergeson.
Hi. You can reach me, call me, text me, 832-206-4495. And I'll take any phone calls, any text messages, or you can find me on my social media, 832-206-4495.
And when should we buy?
You should buy now.
Thank you so much, Shane Bergeson.
Hey, thank you.
And now, just for a change of pace and as a public service, we have Erica Ramelli. Her company is called Better Humans. How about that? We're going to find out what Better Humans, what the company is. Erica, welcome to the show.
Hi, my friend. Thank you so much for having me in today.
Well, we're glad, and thanks to Shelley Keller with Stewart Title to bring you here today. But let's tell people.
I love them.
Yes.
They've been so good to me, and they care about their clients. They care about their partners.
Well, we love that. We're glad you're happy. And let's tell people the company Better Humans. First of all, it's an attention-getting name, and people are saying right now, I wonder what company that is, and does Erica sell real estate? No, you don't sell real estate, but let's tell them what you do.
So we are an educational firm. We teach wellness classes, stress management, and how to become happy, healthy, and wealthy. We have clients in about 18 countries. I work with large corporations like Fortune and Forbes companies, record labels, touring bands, UFC fighters, and people like you and me.
Well, there you go. And stress is all over. So it's not just about reducing stress or living with stress, but tell people about the offerings, kind of round out some of the things you're doing with all these companies and corporations.
Well, I help individuals understand that stress is the result of something that they are triggering. So we're actually helping individuals understand their life, their body, the environment in which they live, and to be responsible for what they're manifesting and what they're experiencing. So we have lots of different protocols and programs that truly encompass all of the aspects of a human body so that they understand and they have the tools to manage stressors as they arise. And it's been wonderful being able to work with the realtors and in the real estate industry because they have been seeing some ups and downs in the markets. So there's definitely a bit of stress there.
Well, also, when people are in situations, and let's take realtors, for instance, some are already in a peak performance mode, let's say, and then there might be someone that's down maybe a couple notches from that where they're trying to get a little more traction. Let's tell people what some of the bullet points that you advise for those that are already top performers and really are moving with nice momentum. How do you coach that or help that situation?
I think that under the Better Human programs, we focus on the physical body and we focus on the mind and the mindset. And what does abundance even mean? And how do you cultivate a mindset of abundance? So those individuals that have already kind of cracked the code, so to speak, on the abundance generation, we help them staying happy and healthy, because at that point, with more responsibilities, the physical body gets a little more stressed. So we want them to focus on their longevity and their well-being. And for those individuals that are getting started, that are what I call kind of pedaling still, trying to crack that code, I want them to understand that maybe it's something within their mindset that is not allowing them to truly live in this blissful, abundant state. So we help them understand what to eat, what to drink, what to think. We have specific musics that they listen to before bed, and all that helps set their mind into a state of abundance.
Well, also, as we understand from Shelley Keller, and you're working in collaboration with Stewart and Shelley, what are some of you have classes. Mm-hmm. So when someone goes, and you can kind of give us a preview of what would happen if we attend one of the classes, that you have some upcoming classes, I believe, in April, and people can reach out to you or Shelley. But give us an idea of some of the things that you're going to cover at one of the classes.
Well, this is amazing because Better Humans...
And it's specifically for realtors, right?
Yes. Okay. So what's amazing is that Better Humans got certified by TREC, so the Texas Real Estate Commission, and we're able to now offer continuing education classes for realtors. So Shelley was just amazing in recognizing the need in her partners, and the classes are, one, about stress management specifically and well-being and how to create this abundance mindset that I was just talking about. And then we have another class that's really cool, and it's about understanding the stagnant energies of a place. Has it happened to you that sometimes you walk into a house and you go, I don't know, this place has a weird vibe? And we talk about this vibe of a place. So I help in those classes realtors and anyone actually in the real estate industry understand how to cultivate an environment so that the home will sell for top dollar, so that it will sell fast, but also for themselves so that they can cultivate an environment at home that is clear of toxins, of pesticides, that smells amazing, that is inviting to health, to well-being, to better sleep. That's a big one.
It's huge.
So those two classes are mainly right now what we offer for realtors. But not just realtors. We've also seen that they brought their cousin or their neighbor or their partner. So we've had also individuals that were kind of pulled into these classes because they are truly transformational. And I've learned a lot of cool tricks traveling the world. So I bring them all now. You might probably hear the accent. I have been a few places and have picked up some cool stuff that other groups are doing around the world about health and well-being.
We're glad you could make one of your stops right here today, Erica Ramelli. So as far as, I like your point because it's so true. When you go to a place, whether it's to sell a house or to look at a house or where you're just going to a meeting or something, every place has a certain vibe, mm-hmm. and that's maybe if it's empty even, but people have a certain vibe, right? Mm-hmm. So we pick that up, and that whole combination, that all works into the sales aspect or to whatever our business purpose is, so to speak. So mm-hmm. the mindset to be conscious and aware of those things, I think it's very important.
I love what you just said about awareness, because I think that is one of the biggest issues we're having. A lot of the individuals today are on autopilot, and they go through life and through motions without truly being aware of what their body needs, what their family needs, or the environment in which they're sleeping and living. So this sense of creating awareness is key. And then once you have that awareness, then what do? What are some of the tools? So I'm a master herbalist. I bring an incredible Mary Poppins set of tools of what to drink, what to eat for your body type, because what works for you might not be what worked for your brother or for your neighbor. So it's truly about customization on the wellness space.
And this is your job full-time. You're based here in the Woodlands?
I'm based out of the Woodlands, yes.
And as you do your work, do you stay here in Houston, or are you still traveling to
For the
promote
real
business?
estate space, we are TREC certified, so that's Texas specific. But for Better Humans, we are worldwide. We have clients right now in 18 countries, and so if someone is interested in a personal session, great. But here for Texas and for the real estate is here.
Well, as you plan
all the
for
markets,
I would
Dallas,
think you're a
Houston.
planner also. Do you plan, and you have a to-do list, and as you have the right mindset to approach your work, as you look at 2024, and we're well into it right now, how did you lay your plan and think about how to get the most of this year and your business opportunities, and also how to help the real estate profession and the other professions? What was your thinking?
I love that. Well, I think, and this is maybe just a little golden nugget for people to walk away with, we were talking before the show about being energy, and we are energy before we're matter. So if you learn to feel before you think, and if you learn to vibe before you create, then now you are truly at the source of what you are going to manifest and experience. So I think starting this year was all about identifying what my body needs, what the space needs, what the business needs. And once you have a feel, then you can begin to map the next steps. For Better Humans right now, we're focusing specifically on making better humans here in Texas and growing our fan base, allowing individuals to feel happy, healthy, to walk away, anytime that they come to our workshops, to walk away with incredible tools that they feel they can immediately implement.
So Better Humans, I could enroll in a program or two. Oh,
And
they do.
you're a good musician, I know.
That's true. Words
So-
out.
So,
So, Erica, let's tell people, of all the things, how did you get into this role?
this is really an amazing quest because it is my life. It is not a quick class that I took because I was bored over COVID, like they were talking about it earlier in the show. It's literally my life. I was born clairvoyant, hypersensorial. I've been meditating since I'm 12 years old, and I've been cultivating programs that truly impact the mastery of the body. So I studied in India, in Taiwan. I lived with indigenous communities through South America, studied a lot with allopathic doctors and scientists to understand what is it that makes the body amazing, and how do we biohack into activating mind-body connection, coherence. So I've made it my whole life. I now have 4 degrees, and this is what we teach and do full-time. Classes, education for your company, for yourself, energy-based, herbal-based, vibration. It's all about the vibe. Here it's all about the vibe.
In real estate, there are so many vibes that go on. And just in this real estate show, through the years of doing this show, number 509, by the way, the vibes that happen in this room are also extra exciting, fun, interesting, and all those things. Erica, let's tell people how they can learn more about your company and, in turn, find out about the classes that you and Shelley are going to have coming up. How do they reach you?
If you just put my name, Erica Ramelli, on your browser, hopefully my team has done a good job, and you will be able to find me on all the social media platforms. Emails are there, contact information is there, and their website is betterhumans.net, as in network. We're a beautiful network. So betterhumans.net, and just my name, Erica Ramelli, and you should be able to pull up some amazing ways to find me.
Amazing. I will tell Elvis, betterhumans.net. Thank you for being with us, Erica.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you, Stewart Title.
In today's litigious society, it is imperative to have the proper insurance to offset the many risks facing your business, especially if you're a real estate broker. Your errors and omissions and cyber liability insurance can help limit the threat of these risks if you know what to look for. Not sure if your insurance addresses the risks facing your business? Contact Stewart Insurance to be confident your brokerage can withstand these risks. Stewart Insurance, 866-798-2827. StewartInsurance.com. That's StewartInsurance.com, or call 866-798-2827.
Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title would not be possible without our partner, Stewart Insurance, with a focus in real estate and a special focus on real estate brokers. Stewart Insurance creates insurance plans to address the risks facing our industry today. They invest a significant amount of time helping real estate broker owners offset and manage their risk. Here he is, John Bramlett with Stewart Insurance.
Captain, always a pleasure.
Well, here we are, and you brought the boss with you.
I did bring the boss with me, yes.
Tom Carpentier leading the company in a magnificent way, 24/7.
So you got to make me sound good today, Bill.
You always sound good, John, and Tom's one of the only thing I thought when Tom said he was going to be here, I thought, well, if he's here, is he still going to listen Friday when I send the show out?
Absolutely he will.
There you go.
Absolutely he will.
So what have you brought for us today, John?
From time to time, I like to share some of the questions that are coming out of the classes that we offer. And especially as we get closer to the summertime, I'm hearing more and more classes that are more and more questions in and around short-term rentals. And, what type of coverage would be available and should be considered for those that have short-term rentals. So that's what I wanted to cover today, was what that would be.
A timely subject, because people do ask about that. Sometimes we focus just about regular home insurance, but yeah, short-term rentals, that's a whole thing.
Well, it is. And one of the first things to keep in mind is most times a home policy is not going to cover a short-term rental because that's considered a business activity. So that they're not going to allow a business activity to be part of your home insurance. And then many cases, there are now municipalities that are requiring those that have short-term rentals to be considered a business and have a business license. So then in order to have that business license, and again, it would be important to have business insurance. So that's where this short-term rental policy would come into play.
Well, it's interesting. At this point in time, those kind of details, I have no interest personally in renting my property short-term or long-term or otherwise. But when I read about stories, Airbnbs, all these things, their details and the boxes you have to check just to be part of that are very important. Thus, the insurance things, also those details, it all works. You have to really be on your toes if you're going to be in that world, I think.
Well, it really is, and the beauty of the policy is it recognizes that this is a business. So it is a business policy. It's a commercial policy. It's not just an offshoot, let's say, of home insurance. And what it does is it'll help cover the building. It'll help cover the contents. It provides liability coverage, and it also can provide loss of income. So, on the building and the contents, many times it's replacement cost, which is much more desirable than actual cash value. So it actually, whatever today's market value would be to replace the contents of the building, it's done so without depreciation. So that's always advantageous to have in your coverage. Then it also helps with liability. So if someone to be, if you had a tenant that was there and they got hurt, or they had a guest that got hurt, or if there was some damage to your property, then that's where your liability would come into play. And then the other one that's really nice that we're starting to see offered is loss of income. So for whatever reason, your short-term property you were not able to lease it for, let's say you had some repairs to make, or there were some damages, then that loss of income could come into play. So you could at least replace some of the revenue that you lost because you weren't able to lease it.
Other thing I'm thinking about is all the guests that we've had on, real estate professionals and others. There are so many people that participate in the world of short-term rentals.
Well, and it's more and more. I mean, because the basic definition would be somebody staying there less than 30 days. So that's a basic criteria. But then there's also nuances to it. So you could have a piece of property that, let's say you have a house in Galveston, and that's all you're doing is short-term rentals. But there are some folks that will do that for their own home. So let's say, for example, you lived near Memorial Park, and every year that the Houston Open would come into play, you could maybe say, I wanted to lease my house out for that weekend. So you could do that. Or when we had the Super Bowl or Final Four, people were leasing their homes out. So you can do a short-term rental on your own home, and then that coverage would replace needing to have home insurance. So because you would have, the only difference would be they would have some additional liability coverage and some additional property coverage that you would want to add to the policy, but it would be a policy that could replace your home coverage.
And I'm thinking also, I had a friend that they didn't rent out their home. They rented out a room while they were still there, and that happens too.
It does. That becomes a bit more challenging. That if it's a single room, or sometimes you'll hear the couch dancing or couch moving, where you're going literally you're renting out a couch. Those types of uses, whether it's a single room or a couch, may not be as advantageous, or the insurance companies may not have the appetite for, as if you're doing a section of the house or a separate room within, a mother-in-law suite or the home itself. But it's always worth talking to your insurance advisor if it's just going to be a single room.
Not to mention the garage apartment I just thought of.
Absolutely. A lot of folks with garage apartments do that. I was potentially going to take a trip to Austin, and I was looking at Airbnb. Yeah. And the ones that were, a lot of them that were very popular were the garage apartments.
Yeah. New Year's, I was just at one up in Canyon Lake in a log cabin. So, but I had the whole thing to myself. So that was a nice thing. The other thing I'm thinking about right now, usually when I hear about insurance, the things that you bring forth, the golden nuggets of insurance information, I'm usually thinking from the consumer's point of view, the realtor's point of view, the broker's point of view. But today, for some weird reason, I'm thinking that if I'm the insurance company, I have a lot of stuff to think about just to run my business, to have all these details in play for all the different scenarios that people and entities are going to have.
Well, and there's always going to be
complicated.
Yes, and there's always going to be requirements from the underwriter in order to provide coverage, and that's where working with an insurance advisor like Stewart Insurance can come into play. So, if you were going to list your garage apartment as a short-term rental, there are going to be some things that they're going to want to see. They're going to want to see that it's listed on one of the recognized sites, whether it be Vimbo or Airbnb. They're going to want to see it listed on the site so that you truly are using it as a short-term rental. If the if the building itself is, or the space itself is built later than 1960, then they're going to want to see, they've got some concerns then about the electrical and the plumbing. So have those been updated, or have they been evaluated by a professional and they can say that they're in a good shape? If you're looking at the HVAC or the roof, if it's older than 25 years, they're going to want some sort of an evaluation to show that the HVAC is in good shape and the roof's in good shape. So there are some underwriting criteria that come into play that you're going to need to be able to verify prior to getting the coverage.
So many things to think about.
Well, and again, that's why it helps to have a licensed advisor to work with you, because then we'll walk you through that process, that here are the things that they're going to expect. Here are the things that are going to determine what the premium is. Here are the things that are going to determine whether coverage is available or not. And let's walk through and make sure that we understand that before we, jump into the process.
There you go. That's why Stewart Insurance, stewartinsurance.com. People can go to the website, find out so many things about the company, the offerings, the menu. But in the meantime, John, what else should we know about this particular subject?
Well, I do think if we're seeing more and more clients have that opportunity, or I'm meeting more and more people in my classes
that's coming up
that want to have short-term rentals. So, I just reach out to us. May and Raheem, Sonia and Andrea all can help with this opportunity, and they can reach the personal lines team at 866-798-2827, 866-798-2827. They work with clients all the time. We have carriers and insurance partners that we work with that specialize in this area. So it's not just a one-off, but this is a company that they have an appetite for short-term rentals, and they've built their plan specifically around this revenue opportunity.
And not only that, we're talking about all the people that are still moving here. And a lot of them are going to say, hey, especially some people that may have come from places that had very high real estate values. They have some money left over. They're buying their cash here, and they're saying, hey, I might want to invest in something and have a short-term rental. So the demand is increasing.
Yeah, you may say, look, I don't want to do the long-term. I don't want to be in a situation where I have long-term tenants, that I would like to just do it on a short-term period, or there are periods of the time or seasons of the year that you would want to have a short-term rental. So that's where understanding how you're going to use a real estate can really have an effect on the type of coverage that you ought to consider.
Sounds good, John. Let's tell people how they can reach you and Stewart Insurance.
Well, they can call us at 866-798-2827. They can learn more about us at stewartinsurance.com, and they can email us at stewartinsurance@stewart.com.
The phone number again is
866-798-2827.
Thank you so much, John Bramlett.
Bill, always a pleasure.
Extra bonus, Tom Carpentier with Stewart Insurance. He is the president. Tom, a quick word. Here you are. We're so glad that you're here. You haven't been here for at least, it was November, I think, second week, but you're back. It's so great to see you back. What do you have for us today, Tom?
Bill, great to be here. Great set of guests here. As always,
it's always interesting, isn't it?
It's very interesting. I listen every week, and we serve the real estate community. So one of the biggest things, you've got to know the industry that you're serving, to be able to serve the clients well. And I learn something every week, and I appreciate what you're bringing to the industry.
And you say we have to know the industry, and you early on when we first started doing these shows, these 500-some shows, that was one of the things I remember you and I were talking, that was, other than all the things that happen in this kind of forum and the broadcasting opportunities and so forth, we learned so much by the people being here, hearing them, and that applies to anybody out there in the audience and anybody that's a realtor hearing other realtors, hearing mortgage people. We learned so much about our industry through the people that are the industry.
Yeah, 100%. We built our business around serving real estate professionals from an insurance and risk management perspective, whether that's lenders, real estate brokers, independent closing companies and escrow companies. We have to be a subject matter expert when it comes to the industry so we can understand those businesses, so we can truly, build insurance plans that mitigate their risk and are there in the time of need. So, as an insurance professional, you have to know the policies, but it's equally as important as what we tell our folks to understand the clients and the industry that they're in.
And let's tell people, I was trying to remember the exact date, but Stewart Insurance, part of Stewart Information Services, the company began, you've been with us you've produced the show for 10 years, let's say, but prior to that, how many years was it?
I started 14 years ago.
With Stewart?
Yep, with Stewart, yep.
There you go. Time flies, doesn't it?
Time flies when you're having fun.
Tom, before we say goodbye and we want to bring you back for a full segment, what else do you want people to know about Stewart Insurance?
I just want to thank you and everyone that attends the show for bringing such valuable information for home buyers and the real estate community as a whole. So I think this is a tremendous value add to the industry in terms of what you're delivering every week, week in and week out. So I just, more than anything, appreciate you for what you're doing.
Go out on a limb and speak for all of us at Stewart Title. I don't know, 6,000 people. We appreciate what you do. Thank you so much, Tom Carpentier. And here he is, Kevin Davidson, bringing Angie Middlebrooks here to the show. Kevin, a quick word. Good to see you, man. You're doing great stuff all the time. Let's tell people sir. You are in Fort Bend with 2 offices at Stewart Title. They are.
Yes, sir. I represent the Richmond office and the Sugar Land office.
How's business right now?
Business is picking up. It has, December and January were normal, slower times, but it's been picking up, at least in my offices.
And among so many other things, we talk about CE classes. You're no stranger to helping people stay educated.
I just actually got notified by Shelley from the corporate office that all of my CE classes were reapproved by TREC for the next 2 years.
You have a whole volume of them, right?
I've got 9 classes.
How about that?
They're all marketing related. So if you're looking for marketing help and you're in the Fort Bend County area, I can help you out. If you're not in the Fort Bend County area, reach out to some of the other BDOs and they'll get with me and we'll fix you up.
Now, Kevin, if someone's looking at the YouTube video right now, our pictures, you know what they'd say? Low overhead.
Low overhead from the same club.
No doubt about it. Kevin, let's tell people how they can reach you.
832-654-0527.
Kevin Davidson, here she is, Jana McGuire. Jana.
Hey, Bill, how are you?
You brought Shane, and you're doing tremendous work here with Stewart Title. How many, you here a year yet? I forget. Or is it months?
Nope, 8 months.
Well, it's almost a year.
Yeah.
So it's pretty exciting,
isn't it?
It's
coming up, though.
And your office is?
Is Clear Lake.
Clear
off
Lake.
Space Center Boulevard.
So that's close to the League City then?
Yes. It's about 15 minutes from League City.
We talked about it earlier. All the stuff that's going on in that particular zone is crazy.
Growing.
NASA's
growing too, and growing the Space Center and all kinds of stuff.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
Jana McGuire, how can people reach you?
Yes, 832-244-3439, or I have a Facebook page, Jana McGuire, Stewart Title, Clear Lake. 832-244-3439.
Thank you so much, Jana McGuire.
Thank you.
Angie Middlebrooks is back. Hey, Angie, we missed you. Yeah, good to see you. Well, as we close the show, Angie, what else do you want people to know about RE/MAX or anything else?
that now is a great time to buy.
It is.
The greater Houston market, especially Fort Bend, there's lots of availability. There are many qualified agents within our brokerage, and our brokerage is a great home for said qualified agents.
How often are you seeing, or ask it like this, are people still moving to the Fort Bend area from out of the state? How often are you seeing that?
I would say a good portion. A good bulk of my business last year was people moving in from out of state. A lot of Wisconsin, California, and New York.
I'm glad to hear that Wisconsin's joining in too. I mean, we heard nothing wrong with California, but Wisconsin, that's a new one.
That was an oddity for me, but we have a lot of people that work in the plants that are being moved around, and we have plants down south now where they're moving to. So it brings more business our way. We know we have more employment for those plants, so it's a win-win.
And I think it would be exciting to be in your role to see people after they've moved in and they're here a couple months. What kind of comments do they tell?
Well, okay, if you're talking Wisconsin, because that was one of my last. Let's talk Wisconsin. I had no idea that people could be so fond of palm trees. Snakes aren't as common. So that was
in Wisconsin or in Houston?
In Wisconsin, so that was a real big eye-opening experience.
I may need to go to Wisconsin, but okay.
Yeah, so that was funny. And overall, the friendliness.
Exactly.
That has been the biggest thing that I've heard. Just how we treat each other and how people respond to perfect strangers, it is almost unheard of to them. So I'm proud to be from the South.
Me too, and I will tell you this, that I won't say how many decades it has been, but when I first got here, that was the first thing I said. Man, these people are really friendly.
Everybody's nice.
And they still are decades later. Angie Middlebrooks, how can people reach you?
832-228-7737 and Angie at remaxfine.com. 832-228-7737.
Thanks, Angie. Good to see you again.
I appreciate you having me.
Shane Bergeson is back. Shane, quick word as we land the plane here. What's up?
Not much. Just waiting to help another family, another friend, and maybe someone out of state to come down and enjoy this great weather and these friendly people and the phenomenal food.
No doubt about it. And people hear the show far and wide on the internet and sometimes on the iHeartRadio app at the time of broadcast. Let's tell people how they can reach you, Shane Bergeson.
832-206-4495, or you can send me an email at shanebergeson@yahoo.com.
And strategically, geographically speaking, where you are, there's so much going on. You got to be ready for all. I mean, you got to have the right. As we're gonna talk to Erica, you have to have the right mindset to capture all the opportunities, or at least most of them.
Yeah, that's right. And just like the previous speaker just said, we have people coming from California, Utah, Pennsylvania, Oregon, where people are just flocking here. And there's a ton of opportunity for everyone.
There sure is. Shane, how can people reach you?
832-206-4495. Shane Bergeson at yahoo.com.
The number again is?
832-206-4495. It's
time for wellness as we close the show. Okay, Erica, I'm going to de-stress just for a minute. That's a good idea every now and then. Do we need to de-stress every day or just once a week?
I think everyone needs to de-stress every minute.
Every minute.
That's you need to move in the space of relaxation. And as we learned today, the real estate industry can be quite stressful, especially because your income depends on so many moving parts that are quite external, right? So if you're feeling mentally fatigued, if you're having pains, weight issues, anxiety, or any other stressor affecting your well-being, we want to invite you to come to these classes and gift yourself this time to self-care and to discover herbal remedies that truly use that are able to help you manage stress. So our next Trek certified class is April 25th, and we're in partnership with Shelley Keller at Stewart Title and her wonderful team. So, and I must say, actually, that when a company that you do business with, like Stewart Title, cares enough about the well-being of their employees and their partners, it says a lot about their integrity. So I hope to see you there.
No doubt about it. Google Shelley Keller, Stewart Title. Her number will come up. And Erica Romelli, let's tell people how they can reach you.
Erica Romelli, and the website is betterhumans.net or just myname.com, and see you there.
Sounds good. And thank you, Erica, and thank you all for listening to Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title. I am your host, Bill Nampick, together with John Bramlett, Tom Carpentier, Max Van Natter, all of us at Stewart Title and Stewart Insurance. We appreciate you listening, and go to the Stewart Archives. That's right. You want to see the show. You want to go to past shows. I know you do. Just simply go to stewart.com/radio. That's stewart.com/radio. It's that easy. We will see you next week, and thanks for listening.